Blessfm radio, play good tune. Wow, 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 wow. Roots, roots, roots. Wow, 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 roots, 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 roots. Wow, wow, wow. No more living in this disagreeable way. No. So I guess I'll have to say to you, we're on our way. He who knows is he who feels. Striking to break free from illusions to us real.
Yes, greetings one and all. Yes, it's a bit of a late start for me, but you are tuned in to Spirit True Reality Show. And yes, this evening we're gonna expound upon what I was talking about last Tuesday. But I'm gonna go, I'm just gonna flow into, I'm just gonna go with this flow because there's a lot of things moving through me at this moment. And yeah, the reason why I was late today, interesting, the topic of the previous show was to do about death and the many ways that it's being perceived, or and the beliefs around it, you know, whether it's suicide, murder, child, you know, passing a loved one, you know, as it is. And yeah, we're gonna go into some discussions this evening that's yeah, it's just gonna be a bit different, okay? So just hold tight. For those of you still tuned in, you're tuned into Blessradio, Spirit True Reality Show. Reality of our true selves, reality of one's true self, roots. Yes, you're tuning into Blessradio, www.blessradio.org. So, greetings one and all. And yeah, just getting myself warmed up a bit as I begin the show. And I'm going to play some music, y'all. I'm going to play some music with their message, with its message, and, or messages. And yeah, I'm just going to play some music, just warm you up a bit, and to kind of just, yeah, give you a little space to just tune in. So tune into this, y'all, because breaking down from what I was speaking about last Tuesday, which was about the love, the heart center. And that was a very, important discussion to have. And we're going to go deeper into this ocean of consciousness of ourselves. Because you see, spirituality is really knowing about yourself. Not in the perspective of when we're talking about the name that you're called and, the superficial surface stuff that we are, we're usually, conditioned to identify with. Okay? And these is, and in fact, and the more we attach ourselves to these fainting, non-realistic, impermanent states that we want to be calling as our identity, this makes the fear of letting it go even greater. This is where the fear of the idea of death and coming to the end, or it must be over, or people, nothingness. All of this fear is coming from not knowing the truth of whom and what you is, and be living one's life up to the point of having a transit here filled with fear-based, erroneous ideas about reality and yourself. This is what makes many people fear this inevitable moment we call death so much. Okay? This is what makes people have a hard time with it. And we talk a lot about death, but not much about life. And many people are afraid to die, but at the same time, they haven't even began to live, So I'll go play some tunes, y'all, so we can warm up ourselves and enjoy ourselves with some good vibrations here. Because, harmonic notes, harmonic sounds is healing vibrations, So let's tune into some, because we're dealing with this love, you see, still. But through the show prior, I'm sure you should be getting to know that there is a divine love, and then there is this personal love, which is pseudo-love. And we're not saying that love, you see, I ain't saying love don't exist. I would say that what we're calling love, may not exist, but the actual vibration of what love is does exist. And I talked about, again, the word amor, which is French, going to Latin, and how the root of the word links to soul. Am is soul. And it also relates to the respiratory system when you're dealing with animation. So we're talking about spirit and soul here when we're really going to the roots of where the word we use to try to denote some form of affection or care or high regard in the sense of whom you revere or adore. These words, you see, these words, they have their original consciousness energy at the source of where that vibration originated. Before these words have become distorted and false meanings have been attributed to them, that then supports the illusion we're brought up in believing, based on the narrative that we've listened to, based around this idea of love. When it's an actual reality, we're talking, it's your soul. It's your spirit and soul. And it's the nature of your spirit, nature of your soul, you see? And, but yeah, let me just tune in and make me play some John Holt, y'all, so you can enjoy and tune into these nice vibrations. Aight. Yeah. Ooh, he wants to jump and go on and skank again. But listen, you see, I also was saying that love is a fire, and I was talking about last Tuesday. I was talking about how the flame is also a metaphor for the soul, and how this fire, this burning, this purging and purifying fire of the divine comes online. You see, when you begin to respond to this longing, this feeling that comes from within, that nothing in the world seems to be able to fulfill. And when you get that type of activation in the heart, this is when you can't say this is when your journey begins to start. But I'm gonna play some more tunes, yeah, firstly. And before I did that again, still, I got a beloved brother in the house with me, and we're gonna have a discussion which is gonna go into these areas, and we're gonna talk about energies. We're gonna just tap into the different few things, just see how the river flows as it moves, you know, through us and between us here, because yeah, you know, it's what is real and what is not real. What is real, you know? Whole heap of things is warped in the minds and the outside and inside right now. A lot of unnatural thinking, you know, the way the condition has been, that has taken where things have been taken into this day and time is very much in. There's a lot of warped minds and warped things going on inside, outside, y'all. And you know, if you don't know how to come into that place of stillness, to connect and attune to that inner truth, that peace and harmony, that which establishes you within the balance, centering of yourself, you know, then a lot of things are gonna, you know, you're gonna be like, you know, driftwood tossed about by the waves of the ocean, you know, not knowing whether you're coming or going. So, you know, the reason why I'm doing this session, you know, as the show is about, yeah, let's talk about love. Let's talk about life. Let's talk about spirituality of ourselves, because many of us, as it turns out, even in the wisdom text, you know, as it says, you know, fools die for want of wisdom. Fools die for want of wisdom, yeah. And then in the abundance of water, the fools are thirsty. Says there's no water shortage, no water shortage. However, enough I die for thirst. So what's going on? You see, in this day and time, really with a phone in your hand where you could just Google anything, whereas back in the day you had to find a store that actually dealt with particular information that not every store does. You had to kind of write off the P.O. box addresses in order to get, you know, the type of information, the material you're looking for. If you were doing research, and which is the research, search again, yeah? Research is to search again. And this searching has to start within yourself for you to be able to recognize what you attract to you, to assist you to receive these answers, okay? Or assist you to comprehend what you're going through, what you're experiencing, you see? Because there's, you know, even the word awakening, you know, I don't even want to use that word. I'd rather prefer to say, you know, in the time of activation of the divine essence within, in this day and time of the divine himself seeking, longing, is who's longing for himself within you, you see? For the programs that this particular matrix construct has been established upon, we're in a time where we need to remove these programs, these thoughts. What I mean by programs is thoughts. Thoughts that become beliefs based upon what you've been taught and how you've been taught. about the illusion and how to take the illusion as real and take what is real as illusion. You see how it's going on? It's even how we're taking what's natural to be unnatural and taking what's unnatural to be natural now. You see what's going down? The natural is no longer seen as natural. And the unnatural is what folks is starting to see as natural. You see what's going down here? Artificial intelligence, AI. So this is where you have all this Mickey Mouse comic book love business. People trying to uphold these false identities based upon the fear, not looking in and dealing with your insecurities, dealing with your fears, dealing with, people are turning away from the unconscious because they don't want to become conscious of what's lurking within the depth of the ocean of consciousness of their own being. And what you don't want to face, you will project out there. You'll project it onto somebody else, onto something else, sin, and make out that that's the source of your problem, when it is not the source of your problem. Sin, you is the source of your problem. And you're also the source of your solution too. But anyway, I want to play our next tune because it's about the fire. And this fire burning, I'm dealing with, we're dealing with the fire, the flame, the eternal flame of your soul, you see. And I'm going to be calling in a minute. Me and a brother's going to be talking, very beloved brother here. And we're just going to flow and see where this discussion take we. Okay? So, tune into this, ya tune. better know. As time goes, we got to face the fire of life within ourselves to know ourselves, yo. It's like the hero's journey. You know, the hero with 1,000 faces. Or the one hero, you know. I go through all these different roles, living throughout all these different, you know, conditions and situations. The hero with 1,000 faces. Is you that, you know? You know, you got the hero journey, you know. It takes courage to know yourself, you know. That's why the symbol of courage has always been the lion, you know. And how the lion is always related to the heart. You see? If you don't connect to your heart, you get caught up in your mind and become intellectually prideful. You see? And this is what them say, what comes before a fall. Yeah. So we have to fall into our hearts, you know. Let the mind be absorbed in the heart. Because really this whole life is a hero's quest, you know. It's a hero's quest. It's the hero's journey, and you are this hero, you know. Yeah. Anyway, feel the warmth of the fire of some more.
Fire is burning inside.
What an abrupt cut for that the tune there. You know why? Because we want to play this.
We'll be
bringeth forth fruits in due season. Everything in life got its purpose, find its reason in every season. Forever, yeah. We'll be forever loving Jah. We'll be forever. We'll be forever loving Jah. On and on and on and on. We'll be forever. We'll be forever. Yes, yes, we'll be forever.
Yes. Everything of its purpose. Everything of its season. Find its reason, you know. You see, when we take our time to observe and meditate upon the laws, universal laws, some would say the laws of God. You see, those who know what first Psalms, you know, and them thing there, spiritual scriptures, you know, these things is all allegorical, you know, to convey and preserve the truth of who you truly is. You see, I'm talking about, for the past few strongs, been talking about this love thing, you know. And the thing is, it's so important to really talk. It's a big, broad subject, just as life after death is a big, broad subject, you know. And, you know, we run around in this life catering to an illusion and don't even know it's an illusion, and don't even realize that we're here to actually come to know ourselves. We are here for the purpose of getting to know who He is. See? And we're here really, well, you see what it's all about my mystical heritage rather than trying to find permanency in states of impermanency. That makes sense to anybody? Rather than trying to find permanency in states of impermanency, you're here to find, realize, recognize, acknowledge the reality of one's true self. That's the roots that I and I talk about, you know? And in another way of saying it is to become or realize the oneness with your own divine nature. Another way of saying it is that we are here to enter into the divine mystery, not your mystery. What I mean by that, no. A lot of people want to get into conspiracy theories. They want to get into the mystery of what somebody else is doing or not doing. They want to get into their mystery of what they feel is entertaining for them. Yeah? You know, you want to get in your somebody else's personal business. You know, you want to get into your mystery or whatever you feel, say you want to find out about somebody else or something else. As if to say, well, wow, you know, what's that going to do for you? Yeah? Or the mystery of the past stuff, past historical, you know, events and so forth. We want to get down into that, the mystery, my mystery. Well, you're not here to deal with my mystery. You're here to deal with the divine mystery. Yeah? The divine mystery of you. The secret of secrets. To get to know the divine mystery of yourself. But see, a mystery is that which is covered or hidden, something that is shrouding something else to obscure it from direct view. And you have to lift that veil from that which is being obscured in order to reveal the reality or presence of that which was once a mystery to you, in order for you to know it, to embrace it, you see, and wake up out of this world of illusion. Because, you know, some of you would have heard, you know, you shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free. You see, what's happening is that we're walking around with a lot of erroneous ideas. And these erroneous ideas we are carrying in our consciousness is defiling the consciousness. You know, it's like holding a belief about somebody because somebody tell you something. And you notice that people will rather hold on to the negativeness of what them hear. You know, you even hear this term that if something sounds too good, it can't be true. But if it's too bad, oh, it can't be true though. You don't hear something's too bad to be true. But you will hear that something's too good to be true. So what's happening there? I'm going to introduce my brother that's here in this show with I. And his brother beloved. And I'll let him introduce himself. Brother beloved, Dawood, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing very well, thank you. Greetings, soul family. Yes, brother Syome has allowed me to come into his space, and I'm much love to him for that. And he just told you my name. The English pronunciation is David, but the translation is beloved, and that's one of the names I go by. So yes.
Yes, greetings and hail to you, my brother, for being here. You see, me and this brother, we talk. I mean, you know, this is my cousin, by the way. So cousin,
soul cousin,
so
family.
So it's like you know, we've journeyed in kind of, you know, various through various landscapes of consciousness, you know, in our reasonings. And you know, I really feel, you know, you have a lot of what's so interesting to say, brother. You got a lot. That reason why, you know, I invited you up here tonight is the opportunity to share, you know, some of this, you know, the direct experiential insight and wisdom, which is what I like to talk from, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, the situation, we're chatting about love, you know? At first, I'm dealing with love, the verb, and the noun. And saying that it's not just an action thing. Because a lot of people talk about love and don't even know what they're talking about. It's just really, you know, psychological personality, worship, and manipulation.
Yeah.
You see? And, you know, the discussion about love takes us deeper than, you know, the Bonnie and Clyde story, you know? You know, take us deeper than the Hollywood, you know,
romance stories.
Yeah, romance stories and so forth. That is just
that overlaid onto what you touched on earlier, the hero's journey.
All right.
These are the layers that are put on top of the deeper meaning of things, and then expressed to people through the media. And those who may or may not be aware, the word media, the prefix is med or mid, meaning the middle. So you can see straight away you're also talking about the heart center, and you're also talking about the center of the what we know as the brain, which is really dealing with the physiologically the pineal and the pituitary gland, and they work in unison. So when you're overlaying the true essence of something through the media, it's going directly to these locations within you, and then that's where you can get a lot of confusion, because people now are taking on the emotional baggage of what's expressed in these media outlets, music as well, visual, all of these things, and they're carrying them with them, and they're getting weighed down, and they're living a life of burdenship with all these layers. So yeah, definitely.
Most certainly, my brother. Let's go, you know, more into this, because, you know, what's affecting people's perception of reality is so much of the Hollywood stuff, is so much years and decades of being programmed by those who would like to say they're the masters of the mind, psychology, who have bypassed the heart in the process of growth. It's like people doing heart bypass surgery. You hear them things there. There's this heart bypass spirituality where you find, people very just accessing the brain, just saying about the brain and the the brain working with the mind in your head. And from Western education, we're and there's so many people of different ethnic groups when, being very influenced by the Western educational system, in order to have any credible certification and verification, qualification to, make you be taken seriously, so to speak, to say that you're intelligent. So we get conditioned through the way the educational system is set up to condition, psychologically manipulate your consciousness, to condition you with false realities, false ideas, and no knowledge of self. The knowledge of self people have is very superficial. It's not yourself. It's like saying that the clothes that you put on is you. It's like saying the car that you possess. Oh, are you that? It's like saying that the house you live in, are you this? Yeah? That's not you. All these things don't even reciprocate your your affection, if that's what you want to. It can't even reciprocate your love. Okay? And yet a lot of people formulate a sense of identity from these things. Even education. Look how education is. It's like, oh gosh, people spending thousands, hundreds and thousands. Yeah, to put your children through, an institution that is just doing what? Huh? It is brainwashing you. And even if it was a brainwash, at least your brain clean.
And to interject, as we know, the word educate means to draw out and lead out and bring out. That's what it's meant to do. And not pour in all of these falsehoods.
Yeah, they're stuffing you with like a chicken, turkey. Stuff. Yeah? And it's, as you rightly said, my cousin, it's to draw out, to rear out, to bring forth out of you the treasure which you already have within. You see? Yes. That which already resides within. So this journey, you see, it's a hero quest. I mean, the hero's journey. Some people may be familiar with a book this brother named Joseph Campbell has written called, The Hero's Journey, or The Hero with Many Faces. And the thing is, this all relates to you. There's a narrative that is used in all the movies. Every movie. Every movie you've ever seen. The foundation and format of the story, the scripts, is based upon the hero's journey. Okay? And it's based around 12 steps, which links into astrology. Okay? Do you know your astrology chart is a representation of the hero's journey, you being the unique hero within your own movie, within your own script, that you're supposed to be mastering and going through the sojourn of your hero's journey in order to realize the greatness of yourself and bring that back to the ordinary world that can help and assist others. You see?
Yes.
And so all of the narratives that we have, what we've been watching movies forward over the books, the stories and formats, all of this thing when it comes to the hero's journey is telling you it's about you. And when you're on this quest to know who you spiritually, and cosmically is, you're gonna have to do the first step of the hero's journey is he's in his ordinary world. You're in your ordinary world,
your mundane world,
world. You see, and you're just walking around in the program, the program you've been given throughout your years in the educational institution that conditions you to keep looking out of yourself and buying into the narratives you've been programmed with, and without you realizing that your consciousness is the creative substance and force and power, your very own consciousness is giving power to the narratives
Yes.
that you've been conditioned with to live out, play out, to stay within an illusion until you take up the call to go on an adventure. When you begin to take up the call of the hero's journey, and when you begin to take up this call, it's going to take you out of your comfort zone, out of the ordinary aspect of, you know, what you're used to take up this call for adventure. And usually the call for adventure is approached with what you call refusal. You know, you start to, no, man, this, I'm gonna stay where I am and so forth because of fear, because of you know, being taken out your comfort zone. And you have people that have done this. They run back to their comfort zone and they feel stuck. They never took the opportunity that could have taken them into a broader expansion, another world. And you always hear this thing with the hero is coming out of the ordinary world to enter into another world, a magical world, you know, a special world. And you have people who, you know, because of our insecurities, fears, vulnerability, people reject the call to adventure. They reject that journey of the hero, their hero's journey, their own hero's journey. And they stay same place where, you know, it's ordinary, it's safe. I don't want to be considered a crazy woman because, you know, you want to fit in with the status quo. And then, but what's happened is with those who stay there, they always, they feel unfulfilled.
Yes.
They feel stagnant, stuck, unfulfilled because they're not taking up the quest, the mantle, yeah, to go beyond this world. This world you're being taught is the real world. And to enter into themselves, because most of these stories are representing into you. Is about you're taking this journey within yourself. Look how many people take journey to go, and they will tell you how many different countries they've lived in, how many different countries that they have spent time and visited. And yet they still don't feel fulfilled, and yet they will talk maybe from a worldly knowledgeable place, but when it comes to taking a journey within or any self-knowledge, they're redundant in that.
Yes.
Redundant in that.
That's the misconception of the adventure.
Yes.
The external.
I mean, my brother, say your piece on this. Share with me as well, because you know,
even sharing is even touching on what you're going to get into is where that journey really starts. Whether you're dealing with what people may or may not know about the chakra system and the different levels, and then when you get into the heart chakra system, the heart level, and actually that's where it really starts, because you're going from what we know is the physical preconditioned notions of love and things that are connected to love, and the deeper spiritual soulful meaning of love, and the process that needs to take place within that. And this is where people get stuck. So the music you've played, I want you to even come back to it, because you know even more about the different processes within the heart chakra. Okay. When you're coming to the, because people don't know that this is real. This is, and that's what we also have to convey, is that this isn't the romance and the fantasy on TV. That this process is a real direct experience that you have within yourself, and that it will be different for the different levels and different processes that people go through within themselves, but it's a real process, and that has to be taken very seriously, because that's part of, as Syome was touching on, where people become reluctant to truly go, and they start to reject themselves on many different levels, to go inside within themselves. But yeah, I'd like you to even expound on what takes place, as we touched on with the song, with Love as a Fire, and all these different levels of experience that you go through within yourself.
Most certainly, brother. I mean, there's 5 chambers in the heart, and it's interesting when we're talking about the hero's journey. There's 12 stages, and these 12 stages also are, represent the 12 signs in the zodiac. And when we say zodiac, we're saying zoe, life, and diakos, disc. So the disc of life is within you, and it also emanates from within your from your aura, from your heart center, actually. Because the heart center is the most, it generates the most powerful electromagnetic energy, as you know. You know, it puts out, 700 times, 500 to 700 times more. And I wouldn't even put a limit upon that, because these get verified by...
That's based on their machines and the limitation of their machine.
And the science and so forth. But so I wouldn't put limitation upon that. But what they have verified for themselves to feel comfortable is that they've confirmed, without a shadow of a doubt, that the heart center actually generates 500, and I would kick that up to about 700 and more, electromagnetic energy output, than the brain even transmits. Okay, it puts out more electricity and more magnetic energy than the brain, can actually generate. So they show you that your entire energy field is the source of it comes and is emitted from the heart center. Okay, so this is permeated all around you. Like we talk about an aura, so it's all around you like a disc. It may not be like what would say a 360-degree circle in the spherical way, because you have oval shapes, egg shapes, this and so forth. But I'm talking about that which encompasses you, embraces you 360 degrees. So this represents, you are the disc of life. You're the wheel of life, however you want to say it. And then we talk about the chakras, which breaks down to the term wheel, the word wheel. So we're dealing with the vortexes of energy, center points of consciousness within thyself, which represents different degrees and states of consciousness that one can ascend to or descend within their own self, their own being. And the heart is the bridge, the powerhouse that anchors the life force energy of your soul into your body, and also empowers and circulates energizes the blood, I should say, also, and it's related to various other organs. Now, the hero's journey goes into 12 parts, and as I said, you got the 12 signs of the zodiacus, the wheel of life, the disc of life, which is actually your body. From Aries all the way to Pisces, you're dealing with a part of your body which we would then talk about the spiritual anatomy that we carry within ourselves. And why, when we deal with spiritual scriptures or the wisdom texts in whatever format, you have to understand these things are written in an allegorical format, allegorical way. Allegorical means metaphorical. It means a representative. It means symbolic. Okay? It means parabolistic. It means proverbial. So therefore, the story, the moral of the story. So allegories is ways of storing the deeper truth, the mystery of ourselves, to be revealed through the correct comprehension of the symbolic meanings in the stories, you see, that are written in allegorical ways, which store the truth within ourselves. I was talking about we were saying about the hero, isn't it? And talking about, part of the journey of a hero. First, he's in the ordinary world. Then he's called to an adventure. Then he's kind of maybe, the tussle and, shall I accept or shall I refuse? And then he accepts. And then he now needs a mentor to prepare him for the journey. And as he's being prepared for the journey, he has to become aware of various things that he needs in order to prepare himself for the confrontation, for the actual quest. You see what I'm saying?
And the mentor is anything as well.
Yes.
People associate a mentor as another individual, but the mentor could be as simple as a book. It could be a radio station such as this. It could be anything. It could be
a dream.
A dream.
Exactly.
It could even be a smell. You can expound on it on many different levels, based on who you are and what you tap into within or what's tapped into you within yourself. So that's another thing that needs to be clarified as well about what a mentor is, because it's really still, as it's been expressed, a reflection of your inner self. So the more you become attuned to that, the more you even start to recognize and be receptive to your so-called mentor, which is aspects of your same being, your actual essence being, manifest in your external world, giving you little clues and signs and direction that you have to now be attuned to.
Most certainly. You see what I'm saying? So these, so the mentor doesn't have to be something outside of you as an older person, as, usually is a symbol, an elder, for wise wisdom. And look, wisdom doesn't always come from elders, That's true. Some elders chat a load of, I'm telling you, it's true. Elders don't always speak wisdom, and wisdom doesn't always come from an elder, because a lot of elders chat a load of cow dung. You know what I mean?
That's another thing that needs to be clarified as well about what an elder is, because a lot of the time an elder wouldn't even express that they're an elder, because we get this whole idea that you have to respect your elders, but really you have to first and foremost respect yourself, and then it's a resonance, because what you express when you embody something and that wisdom and knowledge, it will resonate in you, and they won't have to come across as an elder, and even from another perception, they won't even have to be old, or what you perceive as being old.
Exactly.
That elder could be 10 years old. That elder can be even 5 years old, and even though that might be taking it to a level that people think, well, 5 years old, but even though they're in a small body, all it's required is them attaining a bigger body, but they hold that knowledge and wisdom, and in many levels you be able to see it when you look in their eyes, because there's also an aspect that people should be aware of when they do have their children. They always look at your children's eyes and what they call see the inner light, because as they say, the eyes are the windows to the soul. So be aware of who you are and who you have around you. That child isn't always that child that you think that you need to dominate and control and manipulate, when in fact that's what you're actually doing to yourself. So be aware of this. But I think I'm into that.
No, that's good, because you see, as we said, we're gonna flow in what comes out, how it comes out, because there's a lot of things that actually flow into one another when we are discussing what we're discussing. So an elder isn't about the chronological age that we associate with being elderly. We have to understand that even a person's chronological age could be very different to their biological age.
Right.
You have people that don't look their age, whether they are far much older chronologically but looks biologically so much younger. And it could be the other way. Someone could look so much older but they're chronologically young. You understand?
And then you're dealing with what you're touching on another level, the soul and the spirit. That's a whole different.
Well, this is the reality.
And that's when you're getting into what you express. What do you call it? Soul astronomy.
What I call it is soulosophy.
Right.
Because it's the wisdom of the soul, and this is the soulosophy that I teach. And it's the soulosophy that actually is the wisdom of your soul that teaches you through your experiences. This is when you have direct knowledge coming from your soul, because this is what we're supposed to live from. We're supposed to live by the wisdom of our own soul, our own wisdom that we tap into our soul to receive, to retrieve, you see. And rather than being caught up in this mental prison, this mental intellectual confinement of what then becomes a prison for folk, dealing with an unreality, a fictitious idea of love, for example. And as I was saying, we got the natural mind that's getting seen as unnatural, and the unnatural mind being seen as natural.
Or normalized.
Normalizing these things.
What the word normal means.
Well, you're going to go Norman and normal. Well, I know that what they say from historical point of view is that the Normans actually were the French. So is being normalized to be like French folk? I mean, is it? You know? So even these terms we use to be normal, what is normal? Normal is really a conditioning. It's a costed conditioning, you see, that others set up as a program, those who set up as the program of what they consider as normal to control other people's behavior.
And you see the psychology that where people, in some parts, they say, I just want to be normal. And in some aspects, that's a rejection of them. That's a rejection of them not taking that inner journey through maybe fears and all these other aspects of the reluctance and the rebellion against themselves. So they have to go within themselves in order to transcend all of these different levels of consciousness. And as Cuz is touching on this mental projection, this is a deep thing that's taking place, because as we're touching on cycles and vortexes, what we have to be aware of that there are multiple cycles taking place at once. And if you're dealing with it linearly, what we call the mental, and if what we're dealing with, we just touched on what's been normalized, coming from a European perspective. And if you're dealing with it linear again, historically, what we refer to as Europeans haven't been around that long. So in the process of what we call cycles and vortexes in the chakra system, what is also within the planet, because the planet is a living being, there are mental projections, and some people are caught in that, because when people who refer to as Europeans came along, they came along at a later stage of the expression of consciousness within this planet. That's why you've seen a lot of how technology is used. It's absent, it's, as Cuz has touched on, it's bypassing. You know, we talk about surgeons doing bypasses.
Heart bypass surgery.
So that's what's taking place. It's bypassing the heart essence, and it's going straight to what they're promoting all the time is the brain and the mind, and not even the illumination of the mind, but just the mind. And the mind gets illuminated by the direct experience that is taking place within the heart center. So these mental projections that are taking place is the matrix that people are getting trapped in, regardless of their race, their age, their ethnicity, their social. It goes beyond that, because we're dealing with
race or creed.
Right.
It goes beyond all of that.
We're dealing with consciousness. So that's why you can have people from so-called different so-called ethnic groups, races, ages, social status, being stuck in the same cycle of consciousness, which is a mental projection, because they're going around in the same cycle, saying the same thing, doing the same thing, and the same burden. And what needs to take place is this inner process that starts, that we call the hero's journey within the heart center.
Most certainly, because when I was saying that there was this 5 stages, I mean these 12 stages, which represents the zodiac.
And your soul philosophy.
And the soul-osophy, which is what this is a word I created, so don't bite it, okay? You know what I mean? It's copywritten, okay? All right. But yeah, soul-osophy, which is the wisdom of the soul, is something I've derived. And because I do spirituality consultant coaching, which I'll talk about maybe another time, and also to actually let know that this is a service that's available. But you know, you have these you also have the correspondence with these 12 steps of the hero journey. You see how it corresponds with the 12 cranial nerves in the brain. There are also 12 nerve centers, 12 chambers, but these are mythical, okay, of the heart, okay. But what also we take place here, and see how this is all correlated with you, is that the 12, number 12 also is the original 12-strand DNA that we originally was to have. Before we hear this thing about oh, you know, there was the various strands of our DNA disconnected, and only left 3 strands on. Hence, we're talking about 3-strand DNA. All right, or we're on 3D. Some with just 2 strands. And the original, before all of the manipulation and the engineering and the psychological manipulation of consciousness, we had a 12-strand DNA. And hence you have this symbology, allegory being shown to you within, symbolically with Christ and the 12 disciples. Yeah? You are the Christ. You are the third, you're the one. You see, this is what that is all about too.
Okay, you're going to touch on it just, and the 13, because you got the 12 disciples and the 13.
And you got number 13, and 13 you got even the 13th sign, which they call a Sophius, basically the serpent handler, and that represents the actual transformation of because the serpent is also the dealing with the energy, the vibrational waves, the stream of vibration moving throughout the body.
And it's also symbolic for DNA.
And it's also symbolic for DNA. So this is how you have to understand that a lot of things that you read and hear is allegorical. And if you take it literally, you mess yourself up. Because you then take on certain ideas which are actually erroneous. Yeah? They're not in alignment with the true reality of yourself. Which is what then, when you have these erroneous ideas, is what promotes a lot of these crazy beliefs, really very crazy beliefs, that you got to kill other people in order to get yourself direct, passage to God, to Allah, and, things like that, contradictions that God is all love, but God is who you go to pray to destroy all your enemies. And when you look at all the religions and how they were established, they were not established through peace and harmony, were they? They were established the very opposite, in the very opposite method of what they preach and teach to you. Yeah, it was by the sword, man. It was blood. It was killing. It was forcing people to believe, to hold on to a belief, hold on to a thought form that wasn't originated from within yourself. It was superimposed upon you by minds, by ones who bypass the heart and just enter into the mind to deal with the rationale, because they believe that the emotions, the irrational, becomes too cumbersome. And if you want to get people to be programmed to just take instruction and follow these instructions as a faithful servant, faithful slave, really, because a servant at least has an awareness to who they're serving and why. You know what I mean? But when you're forced into servitude and you're psychologically being manipulated in order to take on various ideas as truth, which actually creates a prison for you mentally, because your consciousness is the energy that gives power to these thoughts, to these beliefs, to these ideas. So, when you got that going on, it is based upon, you don't want the emotions, you don't want the heart to be involved here, because it's going to make you start to question how you feel. How you feel about doing such and such, how you feel about a particular action, you see, which then will get in the way of those who just want you to shut up and just follow the instruction and just be, an automated machine. So this is why the fighting down of the irrational, because it's not rational to the logical thinking, analytical mind. Yeah, this is where science has come up, that it doesn't want to deal with the intuition, knowledge that you can directly tune into via the heart. The unified field that they talk about now, that is only, they talk about it boldly because it's verified by science, but this unified field always existed. You see, this unified field is what we were able to tune into when, you're dealing with indigenous people whose their system was based upon earth. Yeah, they were earth connected, earthly connected. So therefore, the earth is also connecting them with the inner laws of nature that is outwardly reflected within the seasons of nature. And through observing nature, you will get into a deeper and better observation of who and what you are. You know what I'm saying?
And actually, even to expound on that, and science didn't start with the Europeans, because even what Syome just expressed was science expressed by these indigenous people. So we also have to get that clear as well. And the word science is also connected with saya, which is to know. So they was getting direct experience to know what was going on within themselves and externally, and to be in harmony with that.
Most certainly, my brother. And you know, so you know, it's very, very broad what we're talking about. So within the heart now, there are 5 chambers. And when you combine the 7 energy centers with the 5 chambers of the heart, what number do you come up with? 12, y'all. Yeah, so you're dealing with the 12 aspects. You're dealing with the 12 disciples, which actually are allegories. Each name is an allegory of an actual faculty of consciousness or state of consciousness. You see, they also represents the archetypes, archetypal representations of personalities.
And a grammatical as well as disciple is also a discipline.
Say that again.
The disciplines. When you're dealing with the word, what you might call wordplay, or getting into the words, disciple is also linked to the word discipline as well. Yes,
most certainly. So discipline is also to follow instruction. It doesn't mean following somebody around town everywhere they go, you know, as they kind of give the impression that, oh, Jesus, you know, 12 disciples just followed this dude around the countryside wherever he went. You know, to be disciplined is where you get the word disciple from. And discipline is to deal with following instruction. If you have something that you want to construct and you haven't done this before, usually you get an instruction manual with it. And if you follow the instructions, you will find that you're able to construct the whatever it is that, you know, you're following the instructions for, in order to construct it and produce it and therefore complete it. You see what I mean? So following instruction is what discipline and disciples actually came from. Yeah? Not being some blind devotee, okay, of anyone. So back to the heart, you see, because everything is about the heart. Because the heart also represents the center, the core. You know what I mean? The balance point. That the innermost cave.
To the heart of the matter.
The heart of the matter. And they tell you, what is the heart of the matter? That there's no matter. Yeah? The truth, yeah, you get into the heart of the matter is that there is no matter. Yeah, nothing solid, basically. So at the heart of the matter is spirit. Yeah? Pure energy, life force, giving energy and power. And your soul is drawn from that very essence. And your soul is the receptive aspect of you in order for you to be able to receive the guidance and directive power from the divine spirit. Divine spirit represents the masculine, which penetrates, radiates, expands, and directs. The feminine represents the soul. The soul is receptive, receiving. It what takes on the impression in order to be able to intuitively know. And the feeling, it's actually the flow of the life force within you. Your soul is the divine consciousness, the divine life force consciousness within you. And the spirit is the moving, the ever-moving presence of the masculine divine spirit, which directs, okay? Which directs and initiates creation. You see, the soul gives form to it. The soul initiates and creates. So you're dealing with the masculine and feminine principle. Fire and air is masculine and masculine, and water and the earth is feminine. Okay, because it also houses. Yeah, the soul is the house of the spirit. You know, so you enter into the heart now to gain access to your divine essence, and this is the reason why the Western world very much have just keeping everyone in their head and out of the heart. Or bypassing the heart, because the heart directly knows. I mean, heart math. This place institute in California, which because of the instruments they have used to prove to the intellect what it suspected to be true, they have then confirmed for them, verified for them, the fact that through their experience, their experiments, they came to realize and document that the heart actually picks up knowledge of images before those images are even revealed to your eyes for your brain to even register. This is part of the experiments that they did with various few people who were shown various different images. And they wanted to know what the response was between the heart and the head. And they found that the heart was knowing what images were about to be presented before the images were even presented. Huh? I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, and then the mind, working with the brain in the head, only picked this up after the images were presented, and then the mind's trying to work it out. So basically what they're saying is that the heart picks up information nanoseconds before the mind even has a clue. Yeah? Your brain is just processing stuff. Your brain is trying to work and figure things out. Hence why the whole thing about the rationale, the whole thing about the intellect and being, dealing with the analytical mind, which cuts things up into compartments to contain them, to confine them, to compartmentalize them in order to be able to categorize them, in order to be able to logically verify and logically, this is how they want you to think, y'all. Huh?
This is what we have now.
This is what we got.
This is the mental projection.
You see? And what happens is that when you get calcified in the sense of this rational mind, you become actually, it appears like your soul less, because you don't have any connection to the feeling energy, which, as I said, their heart math experiments verified for them that the heart center, your heart, picks up information before it's even registered, before it's even seen with your physical eyes, before it's even registered by the mind working with the brain,
Yeah, and that's important to understand as well from a visual standpoint. Because that's why people aren't creating things of a higher consciousness. Meaning the technology that we have, we think it's advanced, but it's not advanced. It's actually very old.
Yeah.
From the time you get it commercially, it's already outdated. So what it is that when you tap into the higher consciousness through the heart center, it actually allows you to tap into the higher aspect of your being to now manifest higher levels of technology.
Well, let's go into that, because we are usually told about the heart mind. I mean, we're usually told about the head mind, okay? And some people, you got also this gut mind. Hence people say, oh, I feel it in my gut, my stomach. I listen and trust my gut. Yeah? Because you're dealing with, brain tissue that's superimposed over the solar plexus, okay? And so therefore, you've got a brain in your head and you've got a brain in your gut. You see what I'm saying? But what they don't show you is that you've got also a brain in your heart. Okay? Now, what we're really saying here now is that you're not dealing with just head consciousness or gut consciousness. You're dealing with heart consciousness. And the heart consciousness came first.
That's the first organ that manifests in the human body as well.
There you go. There you go.
In the embryonic stage.
There you go. You see what I'm saying? And therefore, when we always talk about the heart of something, that's getting to the truth of something. Yeah? When we mention the term, you see, in the temples, and we got to understand that the temples and all these buildings that are constructed are built upon the spiritual technology of you. Yeah? That's why they call the two sides of your head temples. So, and the altar is the heart. Okay?
It's also used to be called, it also is referred to as the Holy of the Holies.
There you go.
That the Romans, when they used to pillage places, they used to go in there straight to the center. And anything that was in there that was a representation of the Holies of the Holies, they would remove, because they knew the connection it had to your very essence.
Well, this thing where in the temple, the physical temples built by the hands of man, built on the blueprint of the human body, and the different chambers within that temple representing the chambers of the heart, and the innermost temple. What you would find, in these times when these invaders came and took over various temples and so forth, the first thing that they would do is go into the center of the temple and rip out the heart stone. There was a stone that you build the temple around. The first stone that you lay was called the heart stone.
Yes.
And from the heart and round the house heart stone is where you build the rest of the temple. The whole rest of the temple is built around this stone called the heart stone. You see what I'm saying?
I think sometimes it's also called the keystone, if I'm not sure.
Right.
I think
You
it's
can,
called in
you,
some,
you know, or
in
you
some
can even,
teaching.
or you can even have the term, you know, the cornerstone. You see, because these are allegories. These are allegories for the heart, you know. Yeah, and we're dealing with heart consciousness, because all is consciousness, all is correspondence, all is vibration. These are the immutable. Doesn't change with time. That's what immutable means. It's unable to be changed. That's what immutable means. So when we're talking about the immutable truth, we're talking about the unchanging truth. We're talking about the unchanging you, because your soul is the immutable truth. Just like how you cannot divide an atom. And if you even you look at the word individual, you're saying an indivisible, inseparable duality. And this is what you only begin to waken or activate or stir out of your slumber when you begin to work upon realizing your individual adeptship, not a herd mindset as a person and a personality that derives its sense of identity from the group, from the herd, from the illusion still, you know, the things that you're attached to that becomes extensions of your ego personality, which we know as the counterfeit identity, the counterfeit self. This is the reason why when we are attached to this sense of identity, when the inevitable, you know, that moment comes, the death, it's the counterfeit identity that fears the end. It's the only thing that believes in an end. So people end up creating their own suffering based upon the false identities that they have been accustomed to identify with, and rather than take the hero's journey to seek out the truth of who they are, which is taking the journey into the unconscious.
And I think within the Kabbalic system, if you look at the word death, it's phonetically connected to the word Darth.
Yes.
Which is actually in some Kabbalic representations actually isn't in the actual physical representation within a book or text, or sometimes it's done in dotted lines, meaning that it's something that's hidden within the essence of your being.
Most certainly. And Darth, you'd have Darth Vader in your Star Wars, you know, and Darth would actually is the place of knowledge. You see, when you know, talking about the 5 chambers of the heart, which is a Sufi, the mystery systems is really the where the knowledge of truth, the true spiritual knowledge of yourself is preserved. Okay, so the mystery systems, like you got the Christianity, mystery system of Christianity is
the
Gnostics, yes. And then you got the mystery system of Islam is the Sufi.
Yes.
And the mystery system of the Judaism is the Kabbalah. Okay. Now, phonetically, we could go into the what the word Kabbalah is really saying phonetically. We can go into these words at another time, because we're going to have Holy Time, other sessions, other shows to go deeper into these things. But it's actually just coming direct here now and talking about, you know, it's about waking up to one's true self. You see, this is what all of the mystery systems was. It was preserving that knowledge that used to be known before we forgot. And when you forget the truth of yourself, when you forget the truth or the ability to perceive the true nature of reality, then that forgetfulness has a consequence. Like all behavior has a consequence. And that forgetfulness, to forget thyself, it creates the consequences of you believing you're just a mere man, mortal, and you're separate from the very divine essence that the whole entire existence, universe, and all of creation has been drawn out from. You begin to believe you are separate from the very source of your own being. You see what I'm saying? So you then start to believe that it's impossible to know the mind of God. And if you was to talk about knowing the mind of God, you are blaspheming. You see? All of this is to keep you shut down and keep you in fear. Because it's all about heart bypass spirituality. It's all about heart bypass. And it is documented in journals and that are not, you know, publicly presented out there. And a lot of people with new insight have it, you know, a lot of scientists, they have a difficulty with getting PR. You know what I mean? Yeah, personal representation. They cannot promote their findings or their papers. Okay, so a lot of things that would assist people to realize the truth of themselves and come out of this stupor, this illusion, has been intentionally suppressed. So, you know, you have it documented where, you know, it's known that there are people walking up and down with portions of their brain missing. It does not exist. It's not there. But their IQ is off the chart. Yeah? And that would lead to the question that if the brain is all important that they want to glorify, of course your brain has a purpose. You see what I'm saying? But they want to glorify the mind and the brain, so you bypass your heart. You bypass the direct access point you have to the divine within yourself. Yeah? You will be in a mindset that will doubt yourself. You'll be in a mindset that will always be an adversary to the very truth of your being. Hence, you end up becoming a devil to you. You become the devil to your soul, because the soul is really the adversary of God. And if you realize that God is your soul, yeah, if you realize that your soul is consciousness, divine consciousness, and the ego is really the counterfeit identity, the psychological mind, the psychological conditioned identity, then you'd realize that it's that false identity that is being the adversary to make you deny the truth within yourself. You know, you're going to listen to all the fear-based narratives you've been programmed with. Okay? It's going to chuck it to you. Yeah? Your mind's going to be telling you holy flipping things so you don't go into where you should.
And
yeah?
that's where you have the inner conflict, the mental back and forth.
There you go.
So there's nobody outside of that is your enemy, or your, you know what I mean, you're creating your own enemies, your own conflicts by holding on to these illusionary concepts and precepts that have been projected on you and used to manipulate you emotionally.
Yeah. And the emotions, you know, your emotions are more powerful than any rational thought. You may turn around and say, I'm rationally not going to eat such and such. I'm rationally not going to say such and such. I'm rationally rationalizing now with myself. I'm not going to do this or do that. But your emotions override that. When the feeling is strong enough, it doesn't care about your rationalism. Yeah? When the feelings are strong enough, you are going to act upon the feelings. Now, the feelings give you direct access to self-knowing. But the psychological conditioned mind will fight with you to give meaning to these feelings, rather than observe the feelings and allow the feelings themselves to reveal to you the wisdom and the message directly from, you know, from what you're tuning into directly to be revealed to you. Yeah? Without any mental interpretation of psychological manipulation. You see? So this evening, yeah, man, I'm just going into some things. Yeah? I'm talking the way we are talking here.
Yeah.
It's just tag relay. You know what I mean? Or, you know, this is what's happening. And it's just to kind of put this info out there for those who, you see, there's 4 stages of consciousness. As it flows through, I'm just going to tap into it. There's 4 stages of consciousness, where you have the first stage is those who don't know but think they know. Yeah? Those who don't know but think they know, that's the stage of ignorance. Then you've got those who know they don't know. Yeah? And that's a stage where they can be helped. You can guide people there. They know they don't know and they ain't faking and pretending that they do. Yeah? And then you have those who know but think they don't know. You got a lot of folk like that. Being around folk who kind of this is a confidence issue. Yeah, this is a confidence issue, because you could have somebody who, because they're very more well read than you, or, you know, they speak with a certain authority based upon what they're getting from what they've read. You could know what's beyond what they've read. You can know, but you don't think you know. So based upon you not having confidence in yourself. Someone who's got more intellectual or well-read could speak and say something to you, and you won't challenge what they say, because you believe, oh, they're more educated. Oh, well, I haven't read this. So no, I haven't been educated in this way, so maybe I don't know this and know that. But intelligence is not based upon education. Look at the amount of people who said they were high school dropouts, even drop out of university. Einstein dropped out of university. Einstein, who they big up as one of the great minds, he never fulfilled his school life. Huh? He dropped out at 9th grade.
I think a lot of well-established entrepreneurs can go for
Alan Sugar tells you it.
Richard Branson.
Look at them.
And he was dyslexic.
Look at that. You hear?
Or is dyslexic, should I say.
So intelligence is not equated by education. Okay? Many folk who have become successful entrepreneurs, what do you want to say? You know, inventors and so forth. You know, they did not have no super duper high road university, PhD, master degrees and what's not. In fact, they got those titles given to them after they revealed some astounding facts for the science community to have to acknowledge. And then these people are given the award of a PhD.
Only after the fact.
After the facts. They didn't have to sit down and do one little piece of exam at all.
Because now people know they can earn money off of it now.
You see?
Or they can use it as a means to manipulate and control.
There you go, you see. You know, truth is to be said, and you know, you're gonna have some people that duck when it's thrown at them, and some people go catch it. See? And it's not about, you know, oh, don't say all of this because it goes over people's head. I've had that said for many years. And I feel there are many people in the community who want to keep people in the cul-de-sac. They don't want you to know anything beyond where they're comfortable at controlling you from. You see? So they're the ones who are trying to say who's able to get something, who's ready for information and certain higher knowledge, and who's not.
You decide that yourself.
There you go. You decide that yourself. You see? So you have these people that would try to hold back information like this, or make it even more complicated based upon the mental, make it everything intellectual in that sense rather than consciousness intelligence, okay, that you can tune into, feel, experience within the framework of your own body. If you apply yourself to yourself, because no one's going to be able to drink water to quench your thirst for you. You have to be the one to drink your water to quench your thirst. So, you know, you got folk who just there trying to keep everybody dumbed down into some effed up, you know, concepts that they unwittingly, who hold those onto these concepts, they don't know that their consciousness is the power that energizes those beliefs and make them real for them. Yeah? You're suffering and holding on to digging up dead. You're not digging up dead baby, you're digging up dead coffins, you're digging up the dead. And you're bawling over the past and hold on to the dead. And what does it tell you?
They say you have to leave the dead to be with the dead.
There you go. That's what they tell you. What the wisdom tells you?
Things that are no more serving you. If they're not serving you no more to grow and expand in yourself, you have to leave them alone.
There you go. You see? So let the dead bury the dead, man. And let the living be with the living. And what you have is a lot of people want to hold people into dead-ass concepts. Hold on to the dead-ass past. And say that if you forget your past, you don't know your future. Wait. What about right now? Because the future is imagined. And the past is a memory that you're holding on to. Which leaves you unable to be in the now. And the divine can only be realized in the now. Because you're dealing with an eternal now. Yeah? You're not dealing with the past. It's not like, oh, the source and life used to be in the past. It existed. And oh, you know, it will eventually continue existing in the future. But you missed out the present? Huh? The mind functions in the future and the past. Whereas your heart and the truth and the reality of who you are, it only exists within the present, now.
That's why they keep you distracted in the mental.
You see? You hear my brother say?
Or in survival mode.
You hear what my brother says? That's
what you might have to get or can't get, or what you should have got, or you get stuck back and forth in that pendulum, or the polarities actually.
There you go. You see?
And if you look at the prefix, you have a pole. And then you have politics, and you have politicians that deal with policies, and you have the police that,
You see the police, you see the
that are there to protect these policies and enforce them on you. So you get stuck in all of this back and forth. Who should I vote for? You go to the polling station, you're back. None of these people can help you.
So this duality keeps you busy. This duality keeps you in an inner struggle. And then you project this inner struggle outside of yourself. And this is where the fight, this is where the war is being waged. The battlefield is your consciousness. You see? And the place where the war is being waged within you. Because until you find your center, until you take the journey, the hero's journey within, okay, to enter into the subconscious in order to confront the imagined monsters, in order to enter into the innermost cave, which is your heart. The innermost shrine is your heart. These are symbologies of your heart. The innermost chambers. You'll see it on Tomb Raider. You'll see it on most of the movies. The Matrix, they've used the format of the hero's journey. And it's always about you leaving your ordinary world to enter into a different, magical, special world. And how you have to be prepared before it. And how you have to learn, how to know the difference between your allies and your enemies.
And these are the spiritual, soulful tools that you gather in your journey, in your quest. The question that you ask, the quest that manifests itself. So all these tools and talents, your intuition that you gather and you become reliant on, these are all symbolic when you get these tools in your journey. Whether it be as a knight or a warrioress, you gather all these tools to help you navigate in your process. That's right.
And these tools are actually the virtues you have within yourself.
Right.
This
correct.
hidden treasure.
The gifts.
There you go. And these hidden treasures buried within you. And the
treasure chest.
Yes, there you go, the treasure chest, yeah? And you know what you have in your chest, see? Yeah? And you know what that hidden treasure is? That hidden treasure is actually life. And when you find it, you have more life. See? When you find it, this is the whole thing about the crown of life, obtaining the crown of life. Realizing, you live forever. Yeah? Yeah? The illusion cannot live forever. But what is reality lives forever. You see? And
that's what green represents as well.
That's
the ever growing, the ever growing.
There you go.
The Peter Pan.
There you go.
Always staying young. The essence, the child, the inner child.
That's right. The green giant. When they say you're green, it's like, say, why? You're innocent. Yeah, you're naive. You're green.
And people actually shy away from that. You're meant to be. That inner aspect of your being is the aspect that allows you to experience something new, come new. Yes. The inner child, because the inner child just experiences it. It has no preconcepts about what is right or what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. Through its direct experiences, it knows, okay, now I'm not going to touch that fire because I felt that heat, or I'm not going to go there. And they have that inner experience. So a lot of people have been stagnated in that growth to even be vulnerable within themselves. So people project because they're trying to protect that inner child, which is that ever growing, ever
growing essence.
Yes.
Essence, the divine essence of thyself. So, we've jumped around a bit with what has been said, but it's all interconnected, and those who are able to follow this, because I said this show is going to be a little different, this evening, and it's the free flow, you see, because knowledge wants to flow out as it is. It doesn't, when we try to contain it, package it, and try to kind of, confine it, contort it, it doesn't flow. It's not, it's now something else. Yeah, it turns into something else. And you're not really saying what you want to say. You're not really revealing what you want to reveal. You end up starting to hold yourself back and come out with contrivedness. And we ain't got no time for that now, we don't have no time for that. So, there's a lot that's just been said here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to play a tune for you. And so, because we're gonna have to wrap it up soon, but I'm gonna take a little musical break, and or a musical tune in, because no break business, yes sir, it's a continuous flow. So yeah, just tune in to this you're sitting here, and enjoy some James Brown.
You know, we're dealing with a very critical and crucial time. Most crucial and critical time that I've ever witnessed. Being as young as I am, we all don't want to say nothing else, so we say as young as we are. Now I want to talk about the pronunciation and the realization. Now the educators, they call it ESP, positive thinking, right? Some of the people on the cross other side of the pond call it vibrations, astrology, and all those different things. You understand? But I call what it is what it is. What it is what it is. Look at him. Now you see, a brother, you take in the ghetto, you find a whole lot of crime. I can understand, hey, I know what it means. Being 9 years old before I got my first pair of underwear out of a store. Putting on a half press suit from the pawn shop with tennis shoes, trying to be hip. So I know where it's coming from. Like the fella say, having catfish head stew. And look like the catfish went in there with his head and come out very quick and didn't leave nothing else. Now it's one thing the educators and the politicians and the establishment gotta remember. Now brothers need jobs. If you don't work, you can't eat. If you don't work, you can't eat. Get hip to yourself, good God, my brother, and get it from the street. You don't work, you can't eat. Sis, you don't work, Lord, you can't eat. So you got to have mind power to deal with starvation. And that's what we're dealing with. You see, we can't go back to the biblical stories. 2 loaves of bread, or 2 little fishes, 5 loaves of bread. 2 little fishes, yeah, 5 loaves of bread. Now look here, too many brothers to go by that. Now I want your brothers to dig where we're coming from. Set your mind right here. Dig the JBE experience. I dug this from a young man out of New York. He said the GBE. Now we want to take it to the JBE. The JB experience. Now Fred, brother, lay it on me, lay it. Mind power. Lay it on me. Mind power. What it is, what it is. What it is, what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. That's what it is. It is what it is, that's what it is. Give me some flute. Give me some flute. You know, dealing with Harlem, south side of Chicago, the Bay Area, Watts, Five Point, Buttermilk Bottom in Atlanta, 9th Street in Augusta, West Broad in Savannah. You know, we're dealing with a very critical and crucial time. Most crucial and critical time that I've ever witnessed. Being as young as I am, you know, we all don't want to say nothing else, so we say as young as we are. Now I want to talk about the pronunciation and the realization. Now, the educators, they call it ESP, positive thinking, right?
I'm talking, I put down the track and then my voice ain't up here, so you guys weren't hearing me. Yeah, I'm going to play some more grooves with James here. But I'm going to play before I play my outro. But we're going to be dealing with more of this, you know, straight talk as well on this show. Because, yeah, you know, a lot needs to be said. And as I've said before, there's folks that want to keep certain information back, okay? Because they feel comfortable dealing with people at the levels that you know, you can make things, you make money, make stuff out of folk, you know, keeping you in old rancid beliefs, see, and not teaching you not sharing nothing that's going to truly empower you to realize your divine nature. There's a very strong, you know, materialistic spirituality going on, where it's like, you know, people believe that their solutions are going to be you know, what's going to fulfill them is back into the impermanence. You're going to think it's going to be money and car and status and these type of things. Yeah? And them things then, no, you know, them things, you know what? I'm going to have to tune into our next tune or something. Because I think this says it very, very well. You see? You know? It's this what I'm going to play here now. Yeah, will say what I'm saying very well, yeah, because, you know, things have to be said in the way, you know, in how it have to be done, you know. So let me see, let me get this bread together, because I feel that this is what's going to say what I want to really see it, you know? Because sometimes the music, the message in the music, yeah, the message in the music is best way that certain things can come across and be said, you know? So this, look man, you either deal with what's, you know, permanent, eternal, real and true, or you're dealing with that which just simply fades away. All right. Just bear with the eye because, you know, technology sometimes just get funny, folly. But here we go.
He who seeks of only vanity and no love for humanity shall fade away, fade away. He who checks for only wealth and not for his physical health shall fade away, fade away. Though some believe in diamonds and pearl and feel like they're on top of the world, they shall fade away. What I say?
Yeah, listen carefully, y'all. Listen carefully, y'all.
The rich is getting richer every day, and the little that the poor man got, it shall be taken away. Do you hear what I say? Yeah, hear what I say. The man who worships silver and gold shall surely, surely, surely lose his own soul, then fade away. One who's always acting smart and don't carry no love in his heart shall fade away. God is here and there and everywhere, and he knows when you play the game unfair. So people beware, or else you fade away. Hey, beware, or then you fade away. You gotta fade, gotta fade, gotta fade now.
Yes, people, fruits of the earth, which is the souls, yes, sir. Yeah, I'm going to have to round this up, y'all, because it's coming to that time. But next Tuesday, I will be on time, as I usually is, and, you know, it will be from 8 till 10 as it was. I'd like to say thank you very much to my guests this evening, you know, because, but say, my brother, speak.
I'd just like to say thank you for inviting me down, because, man, it's been a beautiful experience. So, much love to the Soul family, freedom, soul strength, spiritual power in your journey, in your quest, in your inner hero, your hero or your heiress. So thank you.
You're welcome, brother. You're welcome. And we're gonna have you back on again because, you know, of course, once is not enough. You know,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome, my brother. Yeah, man. You see, this fade away. Why you hold on to things that they fade away for? You know, this is what the tune I tell you. Yeah, you have to work. You have to deal with the reality yourself. Enter into the divine mystery, not you know, your mystery, because usually what people are dealing with is folly, you know. But anyway, this is my outro. I'm gonna play this, and I'm gonna say good night, and wish you all love, peace, and prosperity, and that anything that you have heard and able to take in today, this evening, you know, work with it. Whatever resonates with you, work with it. You see? Because it's about what resonates with you. And just because you may feel that something may go over your head the first time, that should not deter you from tuning in, because it's usually the second, third, yeah? The third, fourth time over where you hear something repeated, it becomes clearer to you.
Yeah, receive it in the heart.
There
if it goes over the head, receive it in the heart.
There you go. And when we was growing up, you used to have these things you have to learn by heart. Not by your head top, not by your heart. Some man would talk about head top whenever talk about lyrics, alright, but why? You know what I mean? It's heart. It's about heart, man. Learn by heart. So anyway, you stay in tune and stay, you know, stay connected to the divine essence, or, you know, take this hero journey I have, because this is what everything you see in any film and any narrative is all based around you. You're the hero, and you have your own journey towards your own holy grail, towards the treasure chest that's buried within you, the prize, which is life. And for you to face your fears, which are just psychological thought forms that we've been conditioned with in order to deter us from the greater mystery of who we are. Let not fear get in the way. Anyway, we will be back on the Spirit True reality show next Tuesday. So, without any further ado, here's my outro, and I say blessed love, peace, and prosperity to you all.
Blessfm, no cigarette smoking in my room. Yeah, I still want Molly. Blessfm.